Hi guys, I hope that everybody's safe and well. Sometimes things happen that don't allow us to train the way we want, whether that's from a busy schedule, an injury, bad weather, or even a global pandemic. But I think we can look at everything as an opportunity to improve. For example, maybe you haven't been spending enough time working your hip strength and balance training. That's something you can easily improve at home, and we're going to be putting out a video on that later this week. One thing I think we can all benefit from is more stretching and flexibility training. Not only is it important to support and continue to improve your kicks, but also to avoid injury and allow you to train harder and longer. Today I'm going to show you a simple 10-minute stretching routine that I hope everybody does every day. And I think that within the next week and a half, if you really stick with it, you can make some major progress. Don't forget to spend at least 5 minutes doing jumping jacks, jogging, or jump rope to warm up your body. All right, let's jump right into it. All right, guys, so I hope that everybody finished up their 5-minute warm-up, did some jumping jacks, maybe some jump ropes, some leg swings, even some light kicking. Today, we're going to focus on static stretches. We have a video coming out later this week with dynamic stretching and hip control exercises. So the first stretch we're going to do is we're going to work on stretching out our hip flexors and our quads. Really important, of course, for all those position 1 kicks. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, the first stretch we're going to hit today is lunging hip flexor stretch. This really works the iliopsoas muscles, so all through here. And how we're going to isolate those is by changing the position of our hip. So rather than having an arch here, we're going to make sure that we tuck it forward into this posterior pelvic tilt, step out a little bit, and now we're just going to bend that front knee forward. As soon as your back starts to arch, we're going to bring it back, and then tuck those hips under, and then we'll try this position again. So don't worry too much about how far you can go. Let's worry about getting that nice tuck in here, okay? So we're stretching forward, and we'll hold this one about 30 seconds. Don't forget, keep tucking those hips as we stretch forward. Okay, good job. Okay, of course, we got to do the other side. So let's do it. We'll go ahead and I'll turn around so I can keep talking to you. Okay, same thing. Remember, hips tucked under. So you should already start to feel maybe a little bit of tension there. And now we're going to reach it forward. Remember, as soon as we start to get that arch in our back, we got to bring it back. That means we've gone too far, right? Okay, keep pushing through here. And relax. All right, good job. All right, the next stretch we're going to hit is very similar, but now we're going to mainly focus on transferring that stretch to the quads. And how we can do that is by simply putting our foot up on something. We have a stack of mats here, but whatever you have soft at home will work. Even putting like a blanket on a chair tends to do the job. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put one foot up like this, and we're going to make sure it's not turned inward, turned straight. And then just like the last stretch, we're going to tuck those hips back, and maybe you already feel it, the stretch through here. Now we're going to start to bend it forward. Okay, remember, we don't have an arch in our back. We're going to be in that posterior pelvic tilt position still. Okay, and again, let's hold this one for about 30 seconds or so. Good, make sure you breathe through your stretch. I know if you go really hard with this, sometimes it feels like it's tearing here, but let's try to stick it out. All right, and relax. Okay, good job. We're going to go ahead and switch sides. Now remember, guys, anything that's causing you pain, we want to take it easy, or even we can skip that stretch. So if you have knee troubles, this might be one that's a little bit challenging for you. All right, let's go ahead and throw the other leg up. Okay, we'll get that nice hip position we were talking about before. Okay, and then we'll start to stretch it forward. Again, without getting that arch. We don't want to have that back arch. It's going to kill this stretch. And breathe. Okay, remember, it should be stretching, get the stretching feeling, but it doesn't need to be painful. Okay, relax. All right, well done so far. So now we're going to switch it to a similar stretch where we're going to have a long lunge, and this time we're going to work on putting our elbows down. So let's go ahead and get started with that one. So we're going to try to lock out that back leg, put our hands down here, and we'll get that deep stretch first, and now we're gonna see if we can lower it down, keeping that back leg as straight as you can, all the way to those elbows. Let's hold. Doing great, guys. Stick it out. Breathe through. And relax. Okay, good work. Let's take it to the other side. Okay, same thing. Get that nice long stretch. Lock that back knee out as much as you can. And we'll try to work down to our elbows. Okay, and just kind of think sinking into this stretch as we go. And relax. All right, great job. Let's move on. Okay, the next exercise we're gonna do is a butterfly stretch. Butterfly stretch, we can kind of do it two different ways. One is we can work our adduction muscles, which I'm not gonna worry about right now because we're gonna get to those pretty heavily later on. So what we're gonna do in this case is we're gonna get into our butterfly position and we're gonna try to reach forward. Now remember in the last stretch, we're talking about turning our hips in, underneath of us in that posterior pelvic tilt. In this case, we're gonna try the opposite way. We're gonna try to keep nice and tall, even arch your back as you reach forward. And a really helpful way to do it is to have something to hold on to. So you don't have to have professional kicking bars installed, but something heavy at your house, or even have a family member pull you. Just for kids, make sure that you get mom and dad's approval. Don't pull the leg off their coffee table. So we're gonna reach forward in this case, and we're gonna try to grab a hold. And we're gonna rest there for a minute as we kind of feel our shoulders and back extend a little bit. Okay, remember that we're not hunching. We're trying to be long and tall in our backs. And then all we're gonna do here is we're just gonna slowly walk our way down. Okay, making sure that you keep that good position throughout. And then walk your way down. Okay, now as you do that, we're gonna pull forward, not down, and you'll feel it a lot more this way. Okay, and let's hold this. Again, just about 30 seconds or so for today, trying to keep it a nice, short 10-minute stretching routine. Okay. Okay guys, next we're going to work on two really common stretches that will allow us to loosen up the TFL and glute muscles. And the first one is going to be the pigeon stretch. Now, I see people doing this all the time, and sometimes we don't do it quite right, so we're going to make a small adjustment here today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that front leg out, and we're going to try to keep it about 90 degrees. If it comes in, that's not the biggest deal in the world. The next part is the important part. We're going to make sure that we're turning this back leg over so that it's resting on the top of the foot. And then we're going to lower it down until your hip, until the left side, left glute is sitting on the floor. Now that's the important part. This is where you really get the stretch. Okay, from here we're going to lay it down flat, and we're going to try to hold that position again, keeping your heel pointing up to the ceiling and making sure you keep that left side of your glutes down on the floor. And bring it up. All right, felt that one. Okay, let's go ahead and switch sides. Okay, and again, let's talk through it one more time. So front leg, we're going for 90 degrees again, and it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world, okay? And now we're gonna get rid of this space here by rotating our hips, and now dropping the right side, right glute down to the floor. And now we're gonna be laying down flat, just like we did for the last one. Remember, just as low as you can go, it doesn't have to be flat. Whatever is a good stretch for you is a good stretch for you. Okay, very good. Okay guys, so next we're going to work on our forward folds. We kind of want to do the opposite hip position that we were doing with our hip flexor stretches, and that now I want to kind of arch our backs and get that anterior pelvic tilt to really shorten up those hamstrings and give us a better stretch. So let's get into it. We're going to put one leg out, one leg in, and a modified hurdler stretch. We want to make sure that our toes don't point outward, but that they rotate inward as we do this one. We're going to stretch up and try to keep long and a little bit of an arch in your back as you reach forward. So we don't want to have a hunch in our backs. We want to be long and then slowly stretch it down. Okay, now for this stretch, if you're having difficulty getting all the way down, there's no problem. There's a few things you can do to help you while you're working on getting to those toes. And one is you can just take your belt or whatever you have around the house and put it over, and we can pull it that way while keeping that back nice and tall. Okay? Another option would be similar to that butterfly stretch you worked on earlier, where you could grab a hold of something. So I can even put my foot past the post that I'm holding, and I can keep that back a little bit arched and straight here, hold on to that post, and pull it down. So just like all our other stretches, we're going to try to hit this one at least 30 seconds to a minute on both sides. Today we're going a little bit on the short side. We're trying to get it all done in 10 minutes. Okay, next up we're going to try the forward fold with both legs out. So in this case, a lot of people, what's going to happen is you're going to want to, one, hunch those shoulders in your back, and two, your feet are going to want to go out like this. So we're going to try to avoid both those things. I'm going to make sure that they're rotating inward, that we can stay up nice and tall. So again, we'll stretch it up, try to condition ourselves to do it the right way. We're going to reach down, grab those toes, keep that little bit of an arch in your back. Now we're going to pull and start to stretch down more. Okay, again, if you're having a little bit of difficulty with this stretch starting out, no problem. Let's go ahead and grab that belt again. Keep your back straight, and we'll start to pull down from here. And it works just as well. And likewise, we can scoot in a little bit more, hold on to that sturdy object you have at home or that family member, and pull yourself forward that way as well. Okay, it's a great way to work on those forward folds. All right, now we're going to work into those splits. So we're going to start off with a half split or a frog split, some people call it. We're going to try to keep our knees at about 90 degrees and see how low we can get our hips down to the floor. So we're going to go ahead and spread our legs out like this, keeping that bend. Now, one thing that's going to happen, again, we don't want to have too big of an arch in our backs here, so we want to try to tilt your hips in the right position so that everything is straight. And if you have trouble getting down, one tip you can use, you can go forward a little bit first, down lower, and then push your way back into the stretch. Okay, so elbows down or hands down on the floor is great. And then again, we're going to hold this one 30 seconds or so. I don't have a clock, I'm just guessing. Okay, what we're going to do next is we're going to take one leg, and we're just going to keep the inside of your ankle on the floor here, and we're going to push it out, and we're going to be pushing that back as we're doing our stretch. So to hold this position as well. And then, so we're passing through all those different places we're going to hit while we're going through our kicks. We're going to slowly rotate, rotate, rotate until you're up into this basically a hurdler stretch position here. Okay? All right, then nice and slow. Let's rotate, rotate, back down. Bend that knee. Nice work. Let's go ahead and hit the other side. So same thing, we're going to take that leg out, make sure the inside of your ankle is touching, so we're turning from our hips, not just from your foot. And we're going to push back and down. All right, now nice and slow. Remember, we want to do this slow so we're feeling all those little stiff spots we have. All right, we're going to turn it up into our hurdler stretch here. Okay, we're going to hold this position just a couple seconds, then we'll move back down slow. All right, let's take it back. Again, nice and slow. Good job. Bend it in. All right. Okay, now, the moment you've been waiting for. let's hit those splits. Okay, so let's start off with our legs about maybe 50% of what you can do. So this is just gonna, get our legs ready for the more difficult stretching we're about to do in a few minutes. When we're doing these, we want to keep our hips straight. So for some people, they're going to want to rotate back. In that case, of course, we're going to rotate forward, not from the ankle, but from the hip. And for other people, they're going to want to rotate inward. We're going to keep them straight. So let's work on that first. Okay, so first thing, just nice and relaxed. Loosen up those muscles. We're going to put our hands down flat. Okay, and now we're just going to lay our bellies down. All right, let's bring those arms out. Now here's what we're going to do. We're going to walk them nice and slow all the way over here. We're going to hold them with both hands, stretch down. Again, if you can only get your pants leg, or you can just stretch forward, that's okay. Don't worry, you'll get there. Now we'll walk them back. Again, nice and slow, reaching out as far as you can while you do this. Okay, so that way, again, we're going through all the, starting to get stiff about here maybe. We're going to make it all the way over to that foot. Nice work. And relax. Okay, we did it. It wasn't so bad. So let's go ahead and take it up another notch. So this time, we're going to work on getting that split to about maybe 70, 80% of what you're capable of. So maybe you should feel a little bit of tension, but definitely not feeling, any pain or too much resistance yet. So let's go ahead and spread it out a little bit wider. Oh, looking good. Okay, so now we're going to put those hands down and we'll try it again. So deep breath. Okay, stretching forward. And let's lay that belly down to the floor. Let's see, how are you doing over there? Good? All right, let's stick it out, guys. Okay. Everybody ready to go a little bit further? Okay, so one trick that we can use is changing our hip position, which will loosen up a little bit, allow us to go those extra couple inches and finish the split. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put our hands here. We're going to roll our hips forward, and then we're going to roll them back. And again, roll our hips forward, and then we're going to roll them back again. One more time. Roll your hips forward, and roll them back again. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going for that 180 split. Everybody at home too, I'm watching you. Okay, let's go. Legs wide. Let's hit it. Whoa, nice. And again, hands here. And let's bring it all the way down. Bellies down to the floor. Okay, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to try to touch the insides of our feet. So we're going to go, 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 go until your ankle also touching the floor. Okay, want to keep everything nice and low. Nice. All right, let's slowly pick it up to the center. So if you're way up here, no problem. We're just hanging out there for a second. All right, now slowly up or down, whatever way you prefer. You can sit back or you can stand up if it's easier. Let's bring those legs in. Oh, shake them up a little bit. Get them moving. Okay, now we're going to bring one knee down towards the floor, like this. Now as this happens, your glute's going to come up off the floor, but we're going to want to try to put that down. So what we're going to do is we're going to pin that knee, and we're going to rotate back the opposite direction. And again, we'll just hold this one, just maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. Let's put this one down. And we're going to try to pin it as you rotate back. This is my worst stretching position, by the way. And relax. All right, guys, we're going to hit our scissor splits next. Now, scissor splits are really important because they pretty much are exactly like a front kick or axe kick when you're going to the front. And if you were to turn your scissor split backward, it would look a lot like a side kick or a hook kick position. So let's go ahead and ease our way into these scissor splits. Now, just like we were doing on that pigeon stretch earlier, we want to make sure that the top of our foot all the way on the top of your shin is what's touching the floor and not the inside, okay? So again, we're going to really rotate and work those hip flexors. So when we're doing the scissor split, just like those hip flexor stretches you were working with earlier, we don't want to have that arch in our back. We want a posterior tilt in our hips and really work on keeping upright. Okay, so let's slide into it, and again, we'll take our time. All right, so let's do it. So we're gonna put one leg forward, one leg back, toes up, and we're gonna slide it down, really working on, again, that hip rotation as we slide down and try to get as upright as we can. Okay, always working on getting that nice hip position, so rotating your toes inward on that lead leg. Keep your toes back as well. Breathe slow. All right. Nice work, guys. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So we're going to bring it up. We'll throw that other leg in front. And same thing. Let's slide it down. Really work on that hip rotation. Go. A little bit stiff on the side today, huh? If you're feeling a little bit stiff on one side, no problem. Spend a little bit extra time there. All right, let's bring it out. Nice job. All right, home stretch, guys. Let's hit some of our finishing stretches, starting with the back bridge. I know a lot of people don't like to do these because it's difficult, right? It's a difficult stretch to get that head up off the ground, but let's go for it because I know you're strong. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna plant those feet down and make sure that your hands are flat, and let's stretch it up. Let's hold this one for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, stick it out, 6, 7, 8, 9, and down slow. Did you make the 10 seconds? I know you did. If not, then let's make it tomorrow, okay? All right, guys, so now we're just gonna do some feel-good stretches here. Okay, we're gonna just lay back straight. Make sure that your lower back is on the floor here. We're just gonna pull those knees in. Or release a little bit of that tension in our back and hips. Okay, let's go ahead and rotate those knees over to one side while laying your back flat on the floor. And rotate them to the other side. Okay, nice job. And now going from the belly, push up again and get that arch. And pull back. Stretch up, let's try to round it out. And relax. All right, guys, there you have it. A nice, easy 10-minute stretching routine that you can do at home. I hope everybody keeps working on it until we get back to class. Make sure you stay tuned because we're going to be releasing more videos on stretching techniques. And the next one is going to be on building that hip strength, balance, and really taking those kicks to a next level. So I hope everybody stays safe, and I can't wait to see you back in class soon.